U.S. stocks reversed early losses and closed in positive territory on Friday, and this capped off a bumpy week following the Federal Reserve's decision to raise interest rates earlier in the face of banking troubles. The Fed raised rates 25 basis points to bring the funds rate into the range of 4.75% to 5%, and this is the highest since October of 2007. However, the Fed indicated that rate hikes will be winding down. So, with the troubles in the banking sector, we're going to find out soon if the financial stress abates or not. If the financial stress gets more intense, the market will surely react. As of now, the demand for physical gold and silver has put the squeeze on bullion dealers big and small. And you know what they say about supply and demand. If you control the supply, you demand. First, here a chart of the U.S. bank failures from 2001 to 2023. The timeline is on the bottom of the chart here. And as you can see, there's quite a few failures that occurred in the 2008 to the 2012 time period, with Washington Mutual being the largest at $188 billion. Now, Silicon Valley Bank was about $175 billion, and Signature Bank was about $89 billion. But if you look toward the 2023 time frame, this does not compare to the great financial crisis. Let's go to our charts. And we're now looking at a 20-year monthly chart on the iShares Russell 2000 ETF, and the symbol is IWM, and the close on Friday was 171.79. I'm looking at the chart on the Russell 2000 ETF simply because the Russell 2000 seems to be leading the other indices. Now, go back here to 2003, and if you move all the way to the current time frame, up through like this more or less, you see a relatively decent trend line moving on up. It doesn't look like we're too out of the ordinary. The only thing out of the ordinary perhaps was the 2020 spike down at that point there. But going back to 2009, yeah, that was pretty deep here. 2011 came on down, as well as 2016, and then we have the late 2018 plunge, and of course this plunge here well below, all the way down to the 200 EMA. But here, the current time frame, this doesn't look to be all that much more deep than any of these others, but it does look like it's extending for a longer time frame, so perhaps that's the only thing that's out of the ordinary. But in my humble opinion, it really isn't all that odd, necessarily speaking. But let's take a look at the oscillators and see what they show. Now, here into volume, again, looking at this time frame, say 2007, from about this point here through 2009 through here, that volume goes like that. We're nowhere near that volume here in 2023, even going back to 2022. The volume's not that high. So, look, keep things in perspective. Moving into the MACD, we definitely did go out of the ordinary in this rise all the way up here, but we've come on down and we're looking like a bottom and basing here at this point. We're certainly not as low as we were in 2009, so once again, keep things in perspective. This does seem, relatively speaking, similar to 2020. But we've done some sawtoothing back and forth here, which we've talked about. That's the volatility. We still have a separation between the fast line there and the slow line here, and that separation still leaves more room for volatility. So I think that's what we're going to get, is more volatility, but we are definitely improving. You can see that improvement here in the histogram. Once again, very deep on the histogram, but several months of improvement. Yes, we have a little bit of a hiccup here, which is expected. Maybe this red line continues to come on down here with the reflection coming on down, but I don't think it's going to last too long. A few months, perhaps into the next quarter or so. Moving here into the price rate of change, definitely sawtoothing in this area, taking a bit longer. This is a deeper dive than we had back in 2009, but it surely doesn't feel like 2009 in my humble opinion. Back here to the RSI, we're at a moderate 40.82. And definitely, we came to this point here, not as deep as 2009, probably similar to 2020, but definitely improvement, sawtoothing on the way up. I think that shows improvement for a number of months. Into the stochastics, pretty much the same thing. You can see the bottoming and basing. You can see the struggle between the fast line and the slow line, but it does look like we're improving. The fast line may come on back down below the slow line, but I think that still we're in the bottoming and basing phase, and soon enough we're going to turn up. We're not getting a V-shaped recovery, so you still have some time. And then here into the Williams, once again, maximum negativity here in early 2022, maybe there in October of 2022, but definitely improvement on the way up. We need the Williams to have a spike on up into that oversold territory. We will get it. It's coming, but be patient. Back on up here to the price chart. One last look, and you can see that, look, things are always different, but the crash bros, don't listen to them. Watch the charts. And for today, that's ChewDog Charts. Thank you.